Good morning all, hope you're doing well. Tuesday the 9th of August 2022. We've got a CPI tomorrow, so obviously all eyes on that. The retail guys are quite heavily trapped on their bias now. We're minus 8.8. So every one person buying, there's nearly 9 people trying to short risk indices, DAX, US 30, US 500, UK 100, France 40. And so they're basically trapped selling, so they're going to probably try and average out of that trade, and hence the shifting on the 24-hour difference. But of course, if they add, it's going to make it worse for themselves. So instead of exiting and reversing, they're probably going to add, right? So be careful there. It's very much risk on if we look at the sentiment. VIX is pretty much unchanged. I think it was pretty much where we were yesterday. If I remember, it's about 21.3 or something, so it hasn't really moved much. This will move a lot by tomorrow, the VIX, okay? So there's going to be a lot of fear and things as we go into CPI. And short-dated yields rose, so it indicates fear and worry in the near term, CPI related, I suspect. So let's just say, a little bit of flight to safety in bonds. At the near term, in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, in a year's time, it's just saying a little bit of uncertainty, fear and worry, in the short term. So that's a risk off. This is also risk off. The big picture of the yield curve is actually quite horrible, and that's from a sort of fundamental perspective, this is risk off. So what we want is longer term dated being attractive, and short dated yields not being attractive, in order for the big fish to invest in stocks. If they're getting a decent return on short dated yields, why not invest in that and get a decent return? And so it means taking your money out of the stocks and put your money in bonds, and that's what that means. So this is why we don't want a yield curve. We want the short dated to be unappealing. We want the long dated to be appealing. So then therefore the big fish invest in the stock market. Currently, they might be tempted to invest in the near term in government bonds, so that's risk off. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. AU, big mover from last Tuesday. EG also, UK 100 and dollar yen. Note that they've stopped really shorting the DAX as well, so that was interesting. That's something that I just noticed when I populated this morning. They were really heavily short in DAX because of that Gazprom pipeline issue, and now they've stopped. Right, so be careful there. And just to say they're the standouts there. So quite a lot of movement, and dollar Swiss is lagging. So Swiss strength, you would have seen a chart that I posted in Discord. AU is leading, and so there we go, there's AU, right? So that's that. And QDB customers can check the intraday trade ideas. Now, what this is based on the weekly bubbles, okay? We've got a channel in Discord that just examines the daily bubbles, and that's the max deviation channel. And for this uses the average bubbles, which takes into account daily and weekly, just so you know. So this this thing that I put on the bulletin is from the average bubbles, right? It's just so you know, and it's a little bit more powerful using the average, weekly and daily average. So if you want to know what the trade of the day is, just check your Discord and check the lightning bolt intraday trade ideas. So it's got a good possibility of success. I mean, the bubbles have been reliable. Tomorrow they might be unreliable. I'm thinking the CPI is going to probably thrash to and fro, and it's going to be quite violent, I think. But today might be okay. I still think it's going to be uncertain and choppy, but that's just one of those things, just because we've got a big day tomorrow. That's how we stand. So where things are right now in this moment in time. In a minute's time, these values will change. So you want to get a copy of the trading station so you can see how these things develop. See, S&P is a buy, but is it going to be more of a buy or more of a sell over time? The only way that you can know is get the FXCM trading station. And if you rely on me to populate tomorrow's bulletin, this is, you would have been caught out. So you need to get a copy of it. Buy here on the S&P. So I just made a video just now in Discord just to cover this, and they're going along. So obviously things have changed since the bulletin. and we don't want them to be buying this dip, so we want them to be flushed out. And the only way for them to sell it is if it looks like a sell, so it might have to induce shorts. Alright, so just bear that in mind. It's basically cloak and daggers and lots of fake price action, and that's that. So we had a buy coming up, but unfortunately they've gone long. That SSI line is ticked up, so they're buying the dip in the hour that it took me to do this bulletin, that they're buying the dip. So things are always in flux and they're constantly changing. US 30, we've got a crossover for a buy, but likewise, like I say, you've got to get a copy of the trading station so you can see this has changed since. And if you want to know where the installation instructions are, they're on Discord in the video guides section in order to get the trading station. So I'll put a video document in there. So gold, German 30 is a sell. They've gone long, so it's a risky sell because at a high level it's a buy. Okay, and that's why it's risky sell. So it should be in speech marks there, risky sell. And gold looks like we were going to get the sell, but you can see it's quite sideways. And there's the buy. They shorted it against the 21 moving average. I'll be calm. So it's quite reliable. They went long, so price fell, and they shorted it, so price come up. And they get chewed up a lot, so it's a good advert to get this terminal. It's really amazing. Lots and lots of movement, which is interesting for a Monday. Now the largest move yesterday was dollar CAD towards buy, and now today it's sell. So if you're trading dollar CAD and it's whipsawing, the retail guys are getting whipsawed as well, and they're shifting a lot. Very undecided on dollar CAD. So the largest mover yesterday was dollar CAD. Today's largest move was dollar CAD, but in the opposite way. So it was a buy yesterday, and now it's a sell. So they're getting absolutely put into a washing machine and spin cycle. Largest SLC is AU. So there's the liquidity target. The sizes. Yeah, so I need to update that. That should be 4.26. That just needs a little update there. So that should say 4.26. There's a tiny little typo there. So it's larger than it was yesterday. That was yesterday's size, and now today it's 4.26. So the size has increased ever so slightly, but the position has stayed the same. So that's where they've got their stops, at that level, which is interesting. So the promo code after the 1st of September, it's going to lose its power and it will cost you $31 a month. If you get the annual plan now using the Quasidb code, it will cost you $10 a month, so you've got a humongous saving. If you don't take up this offer after the 1st of September, it's going to cost you that much per month. So get it while you can, get the $10 a month while you can. This means it's just forking out for an annual subscription, and it will be better than doing that than spending $31 a month. You know, that's a 10% discount as well. So consider doing that. You get an annual plan. I'm certainly going to do that. It makes sense. So the 50-50 retail guys. So Aussie is being naughty, and it's just 50-50. It's uncertain. So I think today is going to be a bit of a chop fest, I think, and it's going to be a big hustle in order to get it correct tomorrow. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We know a big picture with risk on, so we could probably continue to crush the bears tomorrow, and we're going to be like heavily risk on, but it will depend on that CPI data. So sentimentally we can be risk on, but it all depends on the result of that CPI. We had a positive day yesterday. Dollar Swiss actually did fall quite a bit. But then it sort of retraced, so we came out with a 25 pip profit, and AU was a 3 pip profit. Had you been trading dollar Swiss, you would have noticed it fell quite substantially, and you could have probably taken profit at a better level. But just for the signals, we exit when they go false. And false is the spreadsheet reset. The data's reset every night, and by doing so, it resets the bubbles, and that's where we get out. So 28 pips is okay. Yeah, last week was really choppy. And so we've got technical checks. So we're going to potentially get GU and dollar Swiss sell. So we only get signals from strong buy or strong sell. And we're possibly going to get AU again because of that technical requirement. And note that they will only get signals if it satisfies the bubbles, the currency pair, and the technical checks. There's no fundamental checks in place. We don't need them at the moment, but we can always implement them if we want to, and that's just to say, are we risk on or risk off? But so far it's just bubbles, currency pair and technical checks. So we've got 3 checks. We can put an additional 4th one in, but we don't really need to at the moment. If things get really choppy, we can probably put in a fundamental check in, but at the moment we've only got 3, so it should be fine. Calendar's been and gone already. Aussie data's out, and of course all eyes on the inflation rate tomorrow. And we've got the inflation rate from China as well, actually. 2.5 compared to 9.1. God, that's crazy, isn't it? If that's worse than feared, that's going to be quite risk off. So just be really careful. Know where your exit is, keep your losses small, and trade smaller sizes as well. And when you get more confident, then you can increase your sizes. And that's it. So always trade safely. Patreon details there. Like and subscribe to the videos, because I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now. And it'd be nice to get to that milestone. So if you subscribe, that'd be great, and just like, it would be cool as well. There's a Discord, so do join that, and you get lots of analysis for free, and I welcome you to that as well. So have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.